TNA has been on life support. Have they not? Been on life support, and Dr. WWE has come in to make the save. So R-Truth, Ron Killings is not going to be returning to the WWE. Harvey, when AEW started, it featured a lot of unrecognizable faces for the casual audience. We're talking about the founding fathers, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, but it also featured some very familiar faces in Chris Jericho and Jon Moxley. When TNA started, 2002, it featured a lot of great wrestlers, mostly unknown to the casual audience. Talking about AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, but they also featured some very recognizable faces. Jeff Jarrett, Ken Shamrock, first champion, Dusty Rhodes, Scott Hall, eventually Hulk Hogan, and an emerging former WWE talent, K-Quick, Ron Killings. Now let's fast forward to today. TNA has been on life support. Have they not? Been on life support, and Dr. WWE has come in to make the save because they have this obsession with AEW. And TNA in its current form has a lot of great wrestlers on their roster, but very few recognizable faces. Those few, Dolph Ziggler and wrestling entities, the Hardys. What does TNA need right now? They need very recognizable faces that fans can get behind, that fans can support, that fans will be like, I can't believe this person's here. I'm so excited. People like Ron Killings, Carlito. And what do you think is going to happen over the next month, 2 months, maybe even sooner than that? We got this story. People are treating Ron Killings as if maybe something more tragic's happened. And we're feeling really bad only to see him emerge back to where he was the first black NWA champion, TNA.
Man, that's deep. That's deep right there. I would say that I see the vision. Now, Peter, I want to call out the IWC here, right?
Okay.
How many people are really supporting these people? Why are these people all outraged? Weren't these the same people that would accept that this John Cena retirement tour is garbage? That why would R-Truth be his opponent for his retirement tour? Why did him and Miz win the tag titles at WrestleMania, right? But now all of a sudden you care that R-Truth got released? These fans are fickle, man.
So you're kind of going back on the fans. Like, they didn't really care about Ron Killings until WWE said, see ya.
Absolutely. Everybody's gonna tell you, "Oh, we love his bits. He lights up the show." Every comedic thing. I mean, he got guys like Brock Lesnar to break, Triple H to break character. Like, how many guys you know can make Brock Lesnar break character, man?
Not many, probably.
I mean, we hear such wonderful things about him being a great human being, but it's like everyone always has this fake outrage when someone gets released, and I want to know how many people do support. How many people have R-Truth shirts? How many people had shirts before he got released? Let's talk about all the other talent that got released before. How many people are supporting them?
You make a great point, man, because nobody really, they're just all talk. They just get on that sympathetic side.
And there's even a quote by the legendary Vince McMahon that said, if there's one person that's going to have a job forever, it's going to be Ron.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They said Ron was the only guy that made Vince laugh.
Man, I'm not going to dive into that one at all a little further. There's a lot of psychological things that I could get into on that one.
Don't do it.
How do you feel about it?
It's just going to be weird not seeing R-Truth. Like, this is somebody that I've seen that I'm like expecting to pop up out of nowhere and do something that puts the E in WWE. And I think the more it gets TKOified, turned into the UFC. It's like we're losing like a sacred art of the entertainment side of wrestling. Like, is like WWE actually becoming a professional wrestling company?
Interesting.
Because
Interesting.
now it's like you cut out two of your best comedic characters between R-Truth and Carlito, because that was comedic relief on the Judgment Day. Now, who's gonna be telling all the jokes in the Judgment Day and flirting with Raquel?
But maybe this accomplishes that one thing that you really want. Don't you want the Judgment Day done?
I would love to see a Finn Balor run. He deserves it. I don't know why it's dragging so long, man. You would think the breakup is coming, but I see Finn already playing in the seeds. But you think this expedites the process?
I think Carlito not getting renewed, I think it definitely does. Like, this should make you a little more happy, or at least lets you know that they are planning on completely dissolving the Judgment Day in its current form. And you're going to get your Finn Balor, Dominic
Uh,
Mysterio feud. Harvey, let's talk about the WWE going head to head on AEW's biggest weekend All In, and just in general, their weekend, their pay-per-view weekend. Do you remember when the NBA owned Christmas Day?
yes.
Yeah, just this past year, the NFL started scheduling games on Christmas Day. And do you remember when the draft wasn't that big of a deal? Maybe you're too young to know. Like, the draft's always been a big deal.
It's a big deal for us.
Big deal. Do you remember when the combine wasn't that big of a deal?
Yeah, but once you see your friends playing, you like, yeah, like I want to watch it.
Yeah, there was a time when the draft wasn't that big, the combine wasn't that big for the NFL, free agency wasn't that big of a deal for the NFL, but they made it a big deal. And what happened was, is the NBA used to own Christmas Day. They used to own really everything after the Super Bowl as far as the news cycle, except the time of March Madness, which college basketball owned. So, February, April, May, the NBA owned that. The NFL started emphasizing their major off-season events, and they started dominating that news cycle. Well, when it comes to the WWE and AEW, and WWE going head to head with AEW, I think it boils down to one simple fact, and that is the WWE wants to dominate the news cycle over AEW. Think about it. AEW essentially has owned the news cycle for wrestling anytime they have a pay-per-view, from Wednesday, Dynamite, Thursday, Friday leading up to their pay-per-view weekend, and then the following Monday going up until Raw, because even SmackDown would happen on Friday night, but you maybe will get maybe half SmackDown, half AEW pay-per-view on a show like Busted Open Radio. But think about All In, and think about what's going to be happening over that weekend. You're going to have three major WWE events. So now, leading up to that weekend, AEW has to share all of the news cycle in four ways.
Sheesh. Well, when you put it like that, I don't think I have anything to counter it. But I will say, um, the way it's set up, it has this always been an ongoing war. Am I just not noticing this, or did you already had a grasp on it since the beginning of AEW's time? Right? Has AEW always been trying to counter book? I mean, has WWE been always trying to counter book AEW? I know in the beginning they was trying to keep them out of bigger venues and stuff like that, but now we're seeing them gradually book on the same day. They probably be practically across the street from each other if that's the case. Um, Give me more insight.
So what happened initially when AEW started was AEW was very respectful of the WWE. They were like, we're not doing anything, because it was very well known that indies and other promotions would just come the same weekend that WWE did WrestleMania, and they would do their shows. And Tony Khan was like, no, this is the WWE's weekend. We're not doing anything this weekend. We're good. But that's their weekend. So it started off very respectfully from Tony Khan. And let's get our quick fix on, Harvey. Let's run
All
down
right.
some things. I don't know. Did you watch the pay-per-view, Double or Nothing?
I've caught in the highlights of it.
Okay. Did you notice like everybody was like it wasn't like the fans. They weren't just in Hangman Adam Page's corner. It was kind of surprising how like in Hangman's corner they were. But for me, I noticed something a little bit different. Like, yeah, Hangman cut a good promo leading up to the pay-per-view. But what I noticed was the fans were starting to turn against Will Ospreay. The fans started to get this inclination that Will Ospreay was the anointed one for AEW, a la John Cena, a la Roman Reigns. And the fans, the one thing that you can guarantee that they hate is when someone becomes anointed and they turn. And it was like, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like Heyman's promo was fun. Like, wasn't the best promo in the world. It was great. It was good. Was it enough to turn on Ospreay? Like, it just was odd. It was bizarre. But I remember leading up to that week that everybody was like, it's Ospreay, it's Ospreay. For me, it was a foregone conclusion. Ospreay was going to win. Ospreay's going to be the champion. He's going to go and win it all in. He's going to go to the UK and defend the belt. Like, it was a foregone conclusion. Fans hate that. Do you think so?
I want to break this down as much as possible. Hangman said in his promo that he's been in hell for 2 years. Now that hell for 2 years started with who? CM Punk, right?
Yeah.
The him going off the script and costing Tony probably one of the guys that he didn't want to fire, but he had to for the environment to push forward for the company to be in a better place that it is today. Now, had this not happened, I feel like Hangman was quietly in the doghouse and we didn't realize it. So, therefore, all the spotlight was on Jack Perry because of the whole fight, and he was so called, aka what he is now, the scapegoat. But was the real scapegoat the whole time Hangman?
Yo, that's a really good one, man. And he could have been alluding to that with everything that he's saying, even though it was, he's seemed like directly referencing his feud with Swerve. But you're right, like Heyman's really smart, and Heyman's a storyteller, I think, by
Absolutely.
nature. So he may have been referring to everything that happened with CM Punk. Really good, man. Okay, speaking of the AEW Men's World Championship, am I the only one that thinks MJF can get into that title picture for All In?
With the Hurt Syndicate backing him up, absolutely. But don't you think it's a little too early for him to get back in the world title picture?
It,
Even before Swerve?
it may be, but listen, I'm gonna lay it out right now. So MJF getting into the AEW title picture for All In, he's already started jawing with Hangman. You've seen this kind of building up over the past month or so. They have backstage segments. They're just passing each other. They're starting to do some back and forth jawing. Yeah. He's the one, like, every time he gets out there, he's like, I'm with the Hurt Syndicate to get into the title picture. I don't need to do any other work. I'm getting in it. We don't know what's going to happen there. Third thing, big thing, I don't think anybody else is thinking about. Happy Gilmore 2 comes out just like 10 days post All In. And what do you think Happy Gilmore 2 wants promoting? Who you think they want promoting their movie? The AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And what do you think Tony Khan would want out there while MJF knowing he's going to go on talk shows and do some press? He's going to want his world champion out there promoting Happy Gilmore 2. Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. As you can see that by my facial expressions that I was moving my head, that you have a point because now that if I think about it, what if getting into the Hurt Syndicate was a part of MJF's storyline, right? His storyline is that no one wants to be with him. No one wants to be his friend. He betrays everybody. He treats everyone like shit. So no one has his back in the locker room right now, right? You remember how I was alluding to a few episodes back about the Pinnacle possibly coming back? I think it's only a matter of time that he uses the Hurt Syndicate to get into the world title picture.
That's right. Okay, and for All In, tell me this. The current main event, Jon Moxley, Hangman Page. How excited are you for it? On a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10, I'm at 9.5.
You are okay.
You know me. I love John. I love Hangman.
Yeah.
I wish Hangman, like you said, Hangman is a great storyteller. He has a perfect fit for the E. I don't care what no one says. He's a perfect fit for the E. Maybe one of these days. Who knows?
Okay. For me, like, listen, seriously, I'm probably at like a 6 for this main event. But if you added MJF, I'm probably at 10. Like, and maybe I'm just wanting MJF to be there. All right, few things real fast. I don't want Swerve and Hangman to team up. Like, I don't want them to get back together. I want them to feud until their careers end. I want it to be a like forever feud. I don't want to see them in a tag team. I don't care. I don't. It's just fun. It's just better when they can't stand each other.
Listen, I think Tony just needs to take another book out of DKM, man. Put two guys that hate each other into a tag team, and it's going to produce some of the best stuff ever. Think about it, right? Were you watching wrestling back then when they were on the two-man power trip when it was Triple H and Steve Austin? You seen when WrestleMania opponents end up winning tag titles like Shawn Michaels and John Cena? You seen it all.
I understand Hogan, Macho Man,
The powers, man.
the Rock and Sock connection,
Come on, man. Listen, get naming them for me. Keep it going.
Swerve and Page. No, let them no forever feud, man. Let it be the forever feud.
I need them to ride a horse
Every
together.
time, no, because once they get together, it's over. Like the feud is done. Like it'll never be the same again.
It won't. What you mean the feud is done? Like, think about it, right? Stone Cold and The Rock had to team up, and they continued back to hate each other. It was the best feud ever. Stone Cold was like, man, I don't. I need to
Okay.
be true. I need to know that I'm the best.
Okay. One more. Or maybe two more. Is Brody King happy that Malakai Black went to WWE? Because I'll say this, Brody King has never been more over since Malakai Black left.
Wow, that's a tough one for me. Is he more? I think he's more. The spotlight is more on the group instead of the spotlight being more on Malachi Black. I think the fans, like the AEW casuals or the defense, were more interested in Malachi rather than the group itself. They thought the group was cool, but no one else stuck out. So would I say he's happier? I think he's happier in the sense of it works for both of them, right? Malachi is in WWE, and he gets to be the single wrestler that he wanted to be in AEW. But I don't think Malachi is happy that being the gimmick that he didn't want to be. I watched all his interviews where he talked about. I guess he doesn't want to be like the second coming of Undertaker. The character that he wanted to be was the character in AEW, and he wanted to be that. And WWE and Triple H told him no.
Shoot. Oh, what was he different? What was the big difference in AEW and WWE? I mean, he comes out, he's got this black mist, he sprays it in people's face, their eye, they go half blonde. That was AEW.
I feel like AEW is more of like him in real life, I guess. More of like the dark arts kind of feel gimmick kind of thing.
Okay.
And then WWE, he's more of like Undertaker reincarnated or something. I don't know.
Does he still come out in the casket right now?
Yeah, he comes out on the little table.
The table? Casket
Yeah.
table? I don't know what it is. Okay.
Coffin, I think. What is it? Coffin launch?
Yeah. Yeah, the coffin. Is he back in the coffin?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so he's back to his old
Freaks me
stuff.
out. Last thing, Harvey, if I hear anybody else complain about AEW's run times, oh my God, bunch of pussies, dude. Come on. Are you serious right now? WWE is going to be running, okay? They're going to be running an NXT show and Saturday Night's Main Event all on the same day. I don't think this is the first time they've done that. That's got to be 6 hours, right? At least.
No, you're missing the event, UFC.
The same day?
Yeah.
So WWE's running this back to back, right? And then I guess you got a UFC event, And then you have Evolution on the same weekend, but it's not the same as All Together. But anyway, let's say All Together, WWE kind of running shows. Maybe take an hour break, 2 hours break, whatever it takes to like empty the arena, put the arena back in. But that's still in the same day, 6 hours. I, for one, am happy. Like, I'm glad. I appreciate it. Like most like big UFC shows, boxing shows, they begin around 8 p.m. Eastern time. The main event doesn't start until midnight, 12:01, 12:05, midnight. Like, what's the difference? Like, you just, okay, if you don't want to see the beginning, don't get there to the arena for the pre-show. Like, if that's a thing for you. Or don't watch until the show starts, and then you have 4 hours of really good quality wrestling. So that's my thoughts.
Well, I can say that complaining about the runtime is like just a very insane kind of thing because if we're talking about wrestling as a whole, that's a lot of wrestling on the AEW side, the WWE side, the TNA side, whatever else companies out there. I split it. I wouldn't say like if you're a really die-hard fan, you're gonna enjoy as much time as you want to get, but to complain about runtime is insane.
Okay, let me ask you this: who's complaining? And let's break it down into demographics. Is it just the older people that are complaining?
I say the older people in the media just
Yep.
because if they're already invited to this press conferences and if they're not a big team, they got to split their team to where okay, I need my team at Battleground press conference. I need my team at All In press conference. I need my team in New Japan. So it's like all these things going on that they can only cover so much that is I think it's becoming too much for them. In other news, we got to talk about the crazy amount of title losses that's happening down in NXT, and it's causing a resurgence of people getting called up to the main roster. Let's talk about it, right? Let me tell you what's going on now. I don't understand. They said they thought Ricky Starks was getting buried. Excuse me, Ricky Saints. They thought Ricky Saints was getting buried because he talked about defending the NXT North American Championship on the main roster against the main roster guys. He loses the title to Ethan Page. But days just after, come to find out he got called up to the main roster. It's a little. Do you feel like it's a little too early?
I don't know what's been going on with Ricky Sainz at all in NXT. Like it did feel like a flat to me. Maybe he's chirping. Maybe Maybe he was just there to get the WWE style. That was it. The plan is going exactly, the way they intended, which is probably the case. I would say they were like, do some NXT time, learn how we operate, and then you're going to be right up to the main roster.
I can see that. And then right behind them, the biggest surprise ever, JC Jane beat Stephanie McKidd.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I admit JC Jane put in her time. We're talking about JC Jane from 2.0 being Mandy Rose, your favorite NXT champion, women's champion, uh, sidekick in the tag team with Gigi Dolan, to being the women's world champion. She stuck in there. And unfortunately, Stephanie got called up to Raw. And then Jordan Grace was just there for a breath of fresh air as well. And she's on her way to SmackDown.
Yeah, yeah. This is the thing with NXT, right? This is the crux of NXT is that it's still developmental. It's still it's not a place that you're gonna like make huge at any point in time, because I think if you are coming to it from another promotion, you're there just to learn the style of WWE, and then you're gonna move on. If you're in the main roster and you get to NXT, you're probably there to rehab your career. So it's probably for you a chance, but you might feel it's a demotion. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just indicative. I think those three that you named are like, I'm happy for them. Congratulations. Great work. You did what you had to do to get to where you wanted to be. And for me, the one that I really enjoy the most is Stephanie Vacour. So, hats off to her.